Yo, what's up everybody? I'm Twiggy Wolf, and today I'm going to show you a sneak peek into my knife collection for 2019. So one of my favorites that's kind of adding to my collection is Microtech, and this is the Ultratech DE, which is the dual edge, kind of a dagger blade. The deployment on these is just so nice. Glass breaker on the other side, awesome pocket clip. The materials they make this out of is just superb, honestly, and they're good quality knives for the price. You can usually find these secondhand on the market pretty commonly. You'll have to check with your state laws because a lot of the state laws don't allow automatic knives, and this is an OTF, so some states you won't be able to carry outside of your house, but these are a cool fidget knife, but honestly it's so much more than that. The detail that they put in these knives is incredible. I do have two versions of it. So this is the LEO, or law enforcement officer option. This is the single edge Tonto. So they do make a lot of different styles of these blades. They do make a Trudon, which is actually the larger version of the Ultratech, and they are quite a bit bigger than the Ultratechs, but these fit in your pocket amazing. They're super slim. It's almost like having a pen in your pocket. They're really, really light. They're easy to deploy, and the materials they make these out of are incredible. This is probably one of my favorite, I guess, grail knives from Microtech. It is the Stitch. It is an automatic knife, and Microtech is no longer making them anymore, so the only way to get your hands on one is to actually get one second hand, but they are readily available in the secondhand market. But this thing is mean looking, and I just kind of fell in love with it, and I imagine it'll always stay in my collection. This is the Benchmade Bedlam. This is a monster knife, and just kind of fell in love with the looks of it. It is extremely big, but I don't mind it so much. It's easy to deploy, and honestly, the feel, it just feels like a monster in your hands, but it's a extremely well built and nice knife. This is the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. It's a CPM S30V steel. It is American made. They do make it in Golden, Colorado, Rep Colorado. So I did want to rep them because myself, I'm from Colorado, but by far this is one of my favorite knives. A lot different than the Tenacious that you get from them. Better quality materials, better blade steel, better feel, better internals, and honestly this is a wicked knife if you can afford to kind of step up to the next level. These are fairly reasonable too. I mean, they're under 200 bucks, but they're extremely well built and nice knives. This is the Para 3, so it is almost like the Para 2, but just a little bit smaller. And I did get the Blackout. They do have a few different varieties of colors available, I believe. You might check. But personally, I like the Blackout. But definitely on these for the Spyderco, the little Spidey hole as they call it. It's a pretty good trademark of what they are, but the shape itself, they fit really good. They're real tight, real comfortable. Great knives though. This is the Yojimbo 2. And the blade is so unusual. They do have a variety of different ones. I actually wanted to get the carbon fiber one, and then I believe Blade HQ has their own. I believe some of the other knife companies, they partner with Spyderco and kind of have their own. Those do sell out quick. The G10 is pretty affordable, and the carbon fiber one is a little bit more pricey, but they have better blade steel, and it definitely does kind of improve the look of the knife itself. But for what it is, I really like this knife just the way it is, even with the G10. So this is the Hea Designs EQ V2. So this is the second version. Just the detail that Sam puts into his knives, I mean, the milling on that for the texture on that and the colors is just amazing. The blades too, I mean, it's just a piece of art. I mean, you may not use it as much as some of the other knives, but definitely be proud to carry it, because I mean, it is a work of art in itself, and I really do think it is definitely a knife worth keeping. I really want to try to get my hands on one of his new flames, and they did only make 99 of them, so I'm going to see if I can get my hands on one of those sooner or later. This is another one from Hea Designs, and props to you, dude. Your packaging is superb, man. You really know what's up. I think there are a few manufacturers that really do put their heart and soul into the product and the packaging, but Sam at Hea Designs, dude, you really go above and beyond. I really think the packaging and the product itself is extremely awesome, and I do think that your customers appreciate it. But this is the Hunter from Hea Designs. It is a front flipper, so you kind of got used to it. I really haven't gotten used to it yet. I don't carry this so much as I just recently got it from Blade HQ. And you kind of got to practice at it a little bit, but the knife itself, it's got a lot of details in it. But this guy makes some mean knives, and if you get a chance, I believe he still does have some flames on his website available. Hopefully I can get my hands on one before they all sell out. Either that or you got to get them secondhand. But these, the Hunters and the EQ V2, are readily available. This little lovely is the Brous Blades Caliber Blackout, and it does have carbon fiber on the handles themselves. It's super light. The grinding on there, hopefully you can see it. They did a really awesome job of the grind on this blade. I'm not crazy about the liner lock, but honestly, this knife is pretty epic for the small package that it's in, and I really like the carbon fiber and the blade details on the grind on the blade. But for as small as the knife is, it does fit very well in your hand and is very comfortable. Very unique design. This is the Medford Praetorian, and they do have a variety of different types of the Praetorian, but this knife is meant to use and abuse. They were made for the military to basically breach in and get into the door jamb and pry it open. So this knife, it literally, from the blade, you can see how thick it is. But these are sturdy knives. They are meant to be used with military gloves or heavy gloves. So, I mean, the knife itself is pretty epic. It's a tank. It is built to last. I mean, if it's meant to breach doors and pry doors open, you know it's gonna last for an EDC, but it's a very unique knife. They are making an automatic that I saw come out at Blade Show 2019. I would like to try to get my hands on one of those, but their customer service at Medford is very amazing. Good communication, and they do a good job on refreshing the knives, or they call it a spa, I think is what they call it. But these knives are tanks, seriously built very well. This knife I absolutely fell in love with. It is the Custom Knife Factory Satori, and man, is it sleek. I think of like Shredder is what comes to my mind when I think of this knife. Like, I think of Ninja Turtles Shredder in a knife. And integral frame, great quality materials. The blade is freaking huge. I mean, this knife in your hands is a monster, but man, it is one beautiful, beautiful knife. And I hopefully will be able to get my hands on some more of these custom knife factory knives. They are a bit pricey, so for now I've only got one in my collection. But this is the ZT O460, and this is a Sienkiewicz design. They do have two options of this. The O460 is the smaller version, and then they have the O462, which is pretty much the same knife, both Sienkiewicz designs, both carbon fiber on one side and then, you know, metal on the other. These knives are wicked. I mean, the shape, the look, the feel. Personally, I thought I was getting this knife when I ordered this knife. So just know that they are pretty much the exact same knife, only one is supersized. So O460, O462, both incredible designs and really cool knives. Super light. The carbon fiber on the other side. I'm not real crazy about the red and brown kind of carbon fiber, but the carbon fiber on that is, you know, kind of a work of art on its own. Really nice, really extremely light. Smooth action on it, great to carry, even the smaller one for the O460. But my favorite out of the two is definitely the O462. I really like this knife. This from ZT, or Zero Tolerance, is the O450. Super smooth, very comfortable. Sleek design, really simplistic, but extremely awesome to use. I mean, it may look like a simple knife, but it's very complex, and it's beautiful for being so simple and minimalist. But they spend a lot of time on this knife, and it's definitely a cool knife to have. This is the O456. This is another Sienkiewicz design. From ZT, or Zero Tolerance. This thing is a tank. I mean, it is chunky in the hand, but man, you can get a grip on this. The blade is, I really like the grinds on this. I mean, it's an interesting shape on the blade. You really get a good grip on this knife. But the accents they did, the blue accents on it, are really nice. It's a cool knife for sure. This is the 0095 BW for blackwash. They do have a few different options of this knife in colors, but I chose to go with the Blackout. Again, the blade shape on this is really cool. The grinds on it, they spent a lot of time too. Another one of those where, you know, the attention to detail on these is really cool. It is another kind of bigger knife, but I don't mind that so much. This is the 0350. This is an assisted blade. You don't usually see Zero Tolerance making spring assisted knives as much as, because their bearings that they use in there for the knives are actually pretty decent. But I don't mind this so much. I mean, it's very quick deployment. I believe they have G10 on these. Very easy to grip. I mean, there's many ways, but you can definitely get a good grip on this knife, and it feels, it fits your hand almost perfect. Big belly on the blade. Really nice knife though. It does have a liner lock, decent pocket clip on it, G10 on the sides, but overall really good shape. I really like this knife. This one is a little bit more affordable on the ZTs. They go up in price pretty quick, but this one's a lot more attainable. They do have I believe, tiger stripe on this one as well, but I chose to go the Blackout route. So this is by far one of my favorite knife makers. I'm kind of obsessed with So Isham. He pairs with a lot of knife makers, and he definitely has a a style of his own. So each of his knives are pretty awesome just in the look that they have. This is the Kaiser Megatherium, and Kaiser makes very premium knives out of China. This one was customized when I bought it secondhand, and when I took it apart, they did have looks like some scoring on the inside of the blade where the bearing sat. So I'm hoping eventually I'll get my hands on a regular Kaiser because they are super buttery smooth to open. And this specific knife, which has a little defect, I think from the person that did the modification on it, it wasn't done properly. So my hope is I can get my hands on a original one, because all the rest of the Kaisers are super smooth and awesome. But the shape of the knife itself is very unique. I really like the Megatherium, and they also have a Mini Therium, which is essentially the same knife but a little bit smaller. I just like the bigger knife. It is a big chunk in your pocket though, so if you like big knives though, this is definitely a cool knife. This is the Kaiser Critical, and as you could tell, this is normally what the action's like on a Kaiser. I mean, super easy to move. So that Megatherium definitely has some issues. I may have to take it apart and see if I can fix it, but well-made knives, very quality materials. It is a Chinese knife maker, but they spare no expense on the quality of their products, and they don't chimp on any of the steels or the titanium. A lot of color accents on the knives. This one's honestly doesn't need any. I mean, it's a pretty phenomenal knife as it is. The grinds on the blade, the shape of the blade, I mean itself, it really doesn't need much because it's already a pretty beautiful knife. This is another one of my favorite knives. This is the Kaiser Sheepdog. They do now have 3 different sizes of the Sheepdog. This is, I believe, the large. They have an extra large now, which is absolutely huge. And also the Mini Sheepdog, which is, they're all the same shapes, but the Mini Sheepdog is G10 handle and a lot smaller than this. But all 3 of them look to be awesome knives. But that XL is huge, but I'd be interested to get some side by side, all 3 of them, and see kind of, you know, the difference. But personally, this is one of my favorite knives. I do like the butcher cleaver style blade. But this Sheepdog's awesome. So this is the Alter Ego from Kaiser. Really cool blade shape and handle. They do have some milling accents on the handle itself, some color accents on this, but it does fit very well. I mean, I'm a big fan of Kaiser. Honestly, I imagine I'll probably end up owning the majority of the knives that they have. But if you can get your hands on a Kaiser and feel the action on it, it's phenomenal quality, and their materials are also phenomenal quality as it is. This is the Gemini, and it's a super clean knife. I mean, you know, just the shape, real smooth. But this itself, I would consider like a cool gentleman's knife, you know, if you want to suit up or whatever and just have a real sleek knife for your carry. This is definitely would be a cool knife. Super smooth action, really cool knife. Not too large, not too small. It's almost perfect in size. So this is the Theta from Kaiser. This is another Isham design. And like I said, he definitely does have his own style, and just by looking at him, you can definitely tell that, you know, Isham made it. The shape of it's really cool. Honestly, I'm a fan of a lot of his bigger knives, but this one, I mean, it's very easy to, you know, maneuver around. It feels really good. I personally would like to see it bigger. When I got it in my hand, I was expecting it to be a little bit larger, but the knife itself is pretty epic. I mean, if you like, you know, this style of knife, this being as small as it is, it can still fit in your hand. I mean, you can still get a good grip on it, and it's a very interesting knife. It does take a little bit used to because the flipper is actually kind of a back top, but it deploys very easily. So this is the Lancer II from Kaiser. This is another one of their kind of sleek designs. This one does have a little bit more accents on it than the Gemini does. I really like the blade shape and the grinds on there. The holes that they milled out on there kind of give it some extra flavor. But for what it is, I mean, these are very clean, sleek knives to carry, and they're buttery smooth too. In the years of past, I had quite a few knives, but they were kind of inexpensive, some Chinese knives. And lately, I kind of been bitten by the knife bug over the last 2 years. And so I started to invest in hard cases to protect my knives. So the first thing I'll start out with is storage ideas. There are Nanook or Pelican cases, but I actually got Apache cases from Harbor Freight. So this is the 3800, and they do also have smaller versions as well as larger versions. This one is huge. This is the 4800, and I picked a couple of these up while they were on sale over at Harbor Freight. So you always want to keep your knife sharp. So it is a good idea to get your hands on a good sharpener, and I really like this Work Sharp portable sharpener. Gives you a lot of options. It's super portable. It fits in your pocket. Also fits in your cases or your backpack if you're going camping. It's got a few different options to be able to sharpen your knives very quickly. It's got a hone-in rod, and it's got a coarse and fine and a hook option on the top. You basically just turn this and give you a few different options on just quickly honing a knife. You can finish it off with a leather strap. And really, honestly, this does a really good job, and they're pretty affordable. I did decide to check out one of the Edge Pro Apex sharpening kits. I have not opened this yet, but I've heard great things, so I will be doing a video on that one. Well, that's it for my knife collection video for 2019. If you'd like to check out any of these blades, click the links below in the description. These are my affiliate links. Don't forget to head over to my website, twiggywolf.com, and stalk me on all my social media for Facebook and Instagram. Tell me, what was your favorite knife, or what knife do you plan on adding to your EDC collection next? Let me know in the comments below. Well, I'm Twiggy Wolf, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya.